Roxbury, one of the original 6 villages of the Mass Bay Colony, may have started as a haven for land-owning gentleman farmers, but soon small business districts began to emerge. Roxbury Neck, now known as Dudley Square, has always been a bustling community center, home of the original Roxbury Canal, where until the 1830s, boats ferried passengers and goods bypassing the congested harbor in downtown Boston. An ever-changing array of businesses reflect the growth and development of Roxbury and the city of Boston. There were liveries, pubs, and barbershops in the area as early as the 1700s. Even General Washington's headquarters were located across the street from where William Dawes began his historic ride declaring the British are coming. Some businesses thrived for many years, but now no longer exist. There's Cutter's Hardware with the famous upside-down sign, and Timothy Smith's department store. Mr. Smith's wealth continues to enrich the daily lives of Bostonians, funding computer technology centers all over the city. Thousands of city residents can learn how to use computers, the World Wide Web, and video production technology, as well as other media. Ironically, this very video is produced by a technology center sponsored by the Timothy Smith Fund. Research says that the structure at the intersection of Washington and Warren Streets in Dudley Square has been there since 1699. Most recently known as Ferdinand's Blue Store, the building is currently wrapped in historic murals and awaiting new development. By 1922, Ferdinand's Blue Store was the largest furniture store not only in America, but according to Mr. Ferdinand, the entire world, and no one disagreed. During Ferdinand's heyday, everyone in the city came here to shop for quality furniture. Other clothing and assorted garment manufacturers were attracted to the area. The German influx of the 1800s brought an assortment of businesses that included some of America's leading beer makers. Throughout the early to mid-1900s, the Pickle Factory, one of the largest producers of pickles in America, and a top employer of Roxbury residents. Throughout the early to mid-1900s, business development included diverse and extremely successful companies. Minority business development really took off with federal set-asides and plain old entrepreneurial ingenuity. Greater Roxbury has always been a natural fit for businesses, with a vibrant manufacturing base and a great location in the heart of Boston, Massachusetts. Roxbury includes a diverse population driven to innovation. The area has a great mix of successful entrepreneurs and established businesses in a variety of niche markets. Markets that are job-producing and sustainable for the future. Investors can feel enthusiastic about investing in Roxbury. Real estate is a perfect example of a growing market where the sky is the limit. Long Bay Management, a full-service real estate firm in Roxbury, manages dozens of properties in the city.
How do urban areas take advantage of renewable energy, alternative energy sources? We're in a project right now to put solar panels on our buildings. And that's an important thing. This is not just the city or the state doing what they need to do in our communities. It's upon us to do it. This is a community of people that care. There's incredible energy here, incredible people vying to make their community better.
Their founder, Kenneth Guscott, successfully engineered one of the biggest commercial real estate deals in Boston and exemplifies the type of visionary that is present in the city.
And when they were having the building boom downtown, in the city was basically encouraging developers to build on the old city garages location. We said, how about us? We can build. And I remember Joe Warren told the mayor, he said, our guys can build. And said, Ken, come on, tell the mayor you can build downtown a skyscraper. I said, sure we can. We got the capabilities on it. And you have to have that drive and that enthusiasm that you can do it. And what happened was we built One Lincoln, which is a 1 million square foot office tower. It's 39 stories. And it is one of the second most successful things that we've ever done. And it was done by black men in the community who wanted to show our wives, our children, and our community that we have capabilities to do it, and not what the news media say that we don't have capabilities to do it.
Once you possess the vision, how do you implement the plan? Many factors are at work from design to completion, and it takes a company with a long and dependable track record to fulfill those objectives. Greater Boston relies on Cruz Construction's 40-plus year track record in building everything from Boston Police Headquarters to the Reggie Lewis Center in the heart of the city. In addition to their expertise in construction, Cruz also is a leader in affordable housing development and residential management. Roxbury has a variety of support services ready to assist business leaders with all of their needs. Access to quality health care is always a concern. Roxbury's proximity to hospitals and healthcare agencies like the Dimmitt Community Health Center further enhance this neighborhood's benefits. Another Roxbury stalwart in business thrives in a very different industry. City Fresh Foods, started in 1994, is the leading meal delivery service in the metro Boston area.
We started in 1994, so we're going in our 16th year. And we actually started on 304 Dudley Street, right in front of Orchard Park Projects, in a tiny little 800 square foot spot. And the whole goal was to employ local folks, providing a really good high quality service for our neighborhood. No reason why we can't be doing the services for ourselves in the Roxbury neighborhoods. And we built up the business from that guy, starting with Meals on Wheels, moving into doing a lot of charter schools, daycare centers. So essentially from almost cradle to grave, we're feeding folks from the neighborhood.
We do a Southern American type of menu, style menu. We do a Caribbean menu. We do a Russian menu. We do an Italian menu. Feeding people, it's essential. We look at it as we're feeding our community, we're feeding the village, we're feeding those who don't have, elders and kids mostly.
Appreciate everything. All right. You have a nice day.
We try to give them something that is nutritious. As you can see, what's happening in the inner city, in the urban areas, is that it's cheaper to go to McDonald's, it's cheaper to go to the corner store and get a 25-cent bag of chips. So we give them something that close to like what they get at home when they were being cooked for.
You walk through our facility and you see folks really working hard, putting 100% effort in, and it's folks who live here. We're employing about 70 folks. It's a great feeling. We're happy that we're able to employ so many folks in the neighborhood.
And teach and train and work with our staff. We're an open book management company, so we're sharing numbers and sharing profits, so that everybody's working together to make this a success.
Recently into a new facility, so we have greater capacity now.
Call this Yellow Brick Road. This is the engine room, and all the chefs get in about 4 a.m. in the morning here when we start cooking off. End products look something like this. So these are individually packed meals, hot. We do sometimes cold. The products come off the line. It gets packed right into a hot bag. After your order is packed, then it comes through our delivery and shipping department, out to the loading dock here, and then it goes out to our clients.
We reopened up our catering division, and we're catering now all types of events. We've partnered with local chef Lee, who most of us know, who's doing a lot of our culinary, along with our experienced team. So we want to let folks know that any type of catering event out there, we're ready to roll on. We've actually also work with a sister organization called City Growers, and we have some food coming out of the ground. We've set up some urban intensive farms, growing all types of products A lot of those products come back to City Fresh, fresher, local, non-chemical inputs, which is what we're trying to do, is promote healthier food to the neighborhood. Just know that we have a lot greater capacity now, so daycare centers, schools out there, we're ready for more business. Yeah, living in Roxbury, as long as I have, Roxbury is a great place to work, a great place to live. We have incredible diversity. We have community. Folks know each other. We have incredible talent. And we have loyalty. We have some great folks in our employee base. Folks have been here for a very long time, working very hard, putting 100% in every day. So it's a great place to live. It's a great place to work. Big Roxbury fan. Go Roxbury!
Delivering over 8,000 meals a day, this family-owned business is living proof that you can flourish in any economy. The same can be said for the owners of the Hampton Inn and Suites at Boston Crosstown Center. This ownership group realized that despite the economic downturn, there still was a need for hotel space in the city. With 175 rooms, this is the first African-American owned hotel in Boston. Kirk Sykes, president of Urban Strategy America Fund, LP, a new Boston real estate venture, created the Crosstown Center project.
I had lived in Roxbury from 1983 when I first moved here out of college, and it was clear that it was a wonderful place to be, but it lacked some things, some of which were goods and services.
Kirk Sykes transforms communities while building his business. This multi-use complex includes 22,000 square feet of restaurant, retail space, and a parking garage with 650 spaces.
My motivation for doing Crosstown Center comes from a desire to say Roxbury is open for business, and the opportunity to create a retail, hotel, office environment in our community of that scale, set in a way that it hadn't been set for quite some time.
Kirk feels it's important to invest in Greater Roxbury.
We had a wonderful experience. I mean, I think we went out of our way to have conversations with people in small community groups, not big audiences, but going to their neighborhood group and hearing what was important to them and trying to figure out where that intersection was. So once you do that, you say to people, I care about you. And one of the things that we did was create a crosstown council where those community groups, if they met with us, could come on to advise us on how we should best manage the project. So we tried to do development in a way that had never been done before, in a way that was really inclusionary and of the community rather than in the community, on the community.
According to Kirk, Roxbury has a great future because of the continuation of care and investment both inside and outside of the Greater Roxbury community.
Its greatest benefit is that it has proximity to some very strong drivers, and specifically medical and educational drivers. And the Longwood Medical Area abuts it, Northeastern University abuts it, BU's medical school abuts it, and BioSquare in the hospital abuts it. And so those are the kinds of stabilizing agents that help drive opportunity. And there's always been kind of a strong grassroots group of people trying to do things, and you almost feel as though it's your responsibility to contribute to those groups when you move into that neighborhood. And so I don't know if it's in the water or if it's in the feeling of the people you talk to, but it's one of a sense of obligation to help improve a place that really is quite exciting on its own merits.
Greater Roxbury is also filled with a variety of restaurants. You can find anything from Jamaican cuisine at Flames Bistro to a hearty international menu at Merengue's restaurant on Blue Hill Avenue. Merengue has won a Best of Boston award for restaurant excellence. Another top Roxbury restaurant is Daryl's Corner Bar and Kitchen.
It's interesting. I owned bars for 18 years. I sold it 2.5 years ago. It was a great break, but I have to say that I missed it a little bit.
Daryl's Corner Bar and Kitchen, featuring appetizers that take advantage of the freshest local delicacies, sumptuous entrees, and world-class desserts, located in Roxbury at the corner of Columbus Ave and Northampton Streets.
I don't mind working long hours. I understand politics, and I know that everything doesn't happen your way, and that there are times you have to compromise in order to get things done. And I know that, you got to give in order to receive.
This diverse crowd shares their appreciation for.
You have to get to know the industry that you're in. You have to have great mentors around you. You have to reach out and don't be afraid to ask questions. I think oftentimes we think that we know everything and we're afraid to ask. And then if you get in trouble, that's the time that you need to ask. But most importantly, you need to surround yourself with very successful people. If you don't have other successful people who have the same driving force that you have, it's hard to stay on that wheel, because that wheel is very tiring.
Daryl is positive about the future of Greater Roxbury.
What I'm encouraged about is the number of young African Americans and other ethnic group members who are beginning to stay here in the Boston area. And they're strong, they're smart, and they're very successful, and they got a drive in them that's going to really help the city grow and mature and be what it can be.
His entrepreneurial interest was instilled at an early age.
So my father was an entrepreneur at home, had owned nightclubs and fast food joints and gas stations and ice cream trucks. So I obviously had been around entrepreneurs before. My grandfather was a farmer, and he was, for lack of a better word, I call him a rent-out overseer. He would just go around to different, major plantations down in Johnston and Edgefield, South Carolina, and say, hey, I'll run your business for you. And so I saw that.
Daryl took those early lessons to heart. According to him, he was set on the road to success by the time he was 10 years old.
By the age of 10, I had $950 in the bank from working, and my godmother gave me a $50 bill to make it $1,000. So I had my first $1,000 at the age of 10.
Early exposure to business provided by his father and grandfather became the foundation for his business savvy.
Of anyone in my past, it was definitely my grandfather, because that's who I spent, every weekend with. I watched him, saw how he handled business. Where my father's business, I was too young to do, because my father's business was the nightlife. Every Friday morning, my mother would, pack us up, drive to Johnston, half an hour, drop us off, and she'd come back on Sunday afternoon to pick us up.
Entering the Boston business limelight over 20 years ago, he parlayed some real estate investments and purchased the legendary Bob the Chef's restaurant.
It's always greener on the other side. And so, though I was doing well at digital, I always thought that I should be making more money. And so the way to do that is to own your own business.
You can search this whole world wide over, yeah.
Daryl came up with a winning idea by merging his love for jazz with his affection for the Greater Roxbury community. He then created the Beantown Jazz Festival.
Burke is now in charge of the Jazz Festival and running it. I did it for 6 years, and it was a lot of work. You gotta understand, it was a nonprofit, and it's a big festival, and it takes someone now a year to plan it.
Jazz has clearly played a major role in Daryl's life, from the backstage drama of putting together the Jazz Festival to his favorite hideaway at home.
There's a lot of jazz stuff around. I like music. I like the jazz, obviously. I don't think that I'm smarter than anyone else. I never have, and I never will. I said before, I'm used to using consultants, so I always, on a big decision, go get advice. But I don't sit around and wait 6 months to make a decision. I get the advice, and then I make a decision whether to go for it or not. And when I go for it, I just go for it. Also think that everybody is not going to like what you do, and everybody's not going to like the decision that you make. It's hard sometimes to to go through the struggle that you go through, and people don't know what you're going through, but yet they think it's easy for you and they want to talk about you. You can't worry about that. You just can't worry about that. Because, I don't care who you are, lots of times when you fall, not everyone's going to be there to pick you up. So you gotta make your own decisions, whether it's for yourself or for your family, and then you move forward. And people that support you, those that don't, they don't. And you just go for your dreams. The world is open, and I think the worst thing you could do is not ask and not knock on the door.
Working from the same playbook is Clayton Turnbull, president of the Walden Group that operates Dunkin' Donuts franchises all across the city. In 1992, Mr. Turnbull's first franchise started in Roxbury, and he now operates over 18 such franchises in Boston. He's affectionately called the Donut Man.
I wanted to bring a national brand into the neighborhoods that was not already here. I strongly felt that our people that live within the neighborhoods, whether Latinos, blacks, Asians, what have you, including whites, bought by brands. And brands was on the rise in the late 80s, meaning the power of the brand. And I thought that that was a business opportunity that I should go after. So that's what made me venture into Dunkin' Donuts. One, I always tell people you have to like whatever you own and run. You can't get into a business just because it's going to make money. Obviously, that's the ultimate goal, but you should like what you do. And I like the brand of Dunkin' Donuts and what they did. I choose to set up in the city. I choose to bring new brands to the neighborhoods, in plural. So this is not a charity, by no means. This is not a soul search for me. This is not something that I want my name up in lights for doing. This is all about business. And I try to express that whenever I do business. I let people know there's no blurry line in my company with charity and business. This is all business. And this, our neighborhoods can learn from that. Economics is economics, charity is charity. Don't mix them. The economic benefit is a human asset, meaning people get jobs, managers get jobs, people get served by their folks. There's a good, rich interaction at the stores. It's a place to go and hang out, but that's all business. You don't have to be ruthless, as some people like to go to extreme thinking that's how you become successful. No, it's not. And you can be very sensitive and conscious of where you're doing business in different perspectives, but you must stay in the business lane. To attract anybody like myself from a business perspective about Roxbury is you have a majority of people are hardworking, decent folks pursuing what everybody in America is pursuing, a good life. If you want to provide a good job, a good quality product, and have people coming in keeping your business open and profitable, I think it's a good place to be. Just like in any other neighborhood, the same economic status put in Waltham, they're looking for value. So you're getting a fresh product, a quality product at a good value. Bingo. I think that economically, Roxbury has not hit their potential. So myself or anyone else can say to you that mathematically Roxbury can grow. I believe personally that we really need to move economic development a much, much higher on our priority. I want that 12-year-old to stay up late at night studying because he clearly has a dream and he has a mission economically to succeed, because then you're able to be charitable. That's been our growth restraint throughout some of our neighborhoods, is to really have that clear understanding that, you know what, this is all about business and I need to be focused on the economics of my life.
Many of the leading businesses in Greater Roxbury have built their success around people and partnerships. Beth Williams took over as CEO from her father, Archie Williams, when Roxbury Technology was in its infancy. Archie Williams, one of Boston's most successful and notable entrepreneurs, began making an impact some 40 years ago with the Freedom Food supermarket chain. During the last several decades, Archie founded Freedom Industries, parent company to several manufacturing ventures, including Freedom Electronics, Freedom Communications, and Freedom Tool and Die.
My father died on Thanksgiving of '02, and I actually walked in the next day on Friday and called our customer, Staples, Tom Stenberg, and from there, there were 3 people. We were in a small sales office in Quincy, and really didn't know a whole lot about what was going on. I know that Archie was planned and had everything in place to open manufacturing in January of '03. The main thing was, you know, I believed in what the legacy that Archie had, and that was economic development and growth for the inner city.
The core business of Roxbury Technology is to remanufacture ink and toner cartridges.
We typically like to use what they call virgin cartridges, an OEM cartridge, i.e. an HP, that's had one life cycle, and then we'll rebuild them, completely disassemble them, and then reuse them.
So good morning and good Wednesday to all, and happy Cinco de Mayo. First of all, I'd like to recognize line 2. Down a lot of people yesterday, a great number at 190 out of 175. And short-handed and made up. So right now, this week, they're at 95% in the green. So good job for line 2. Thank you. I stay away from individual recognition and kind of leverage back to the team concept that everybody's valued and feels engaged and part of what the company's about, how they're connected to it, and how we feel about it. So if you create that atmosphere and foster that community, I think that you get that effort, returned many times over.
Without the whole line working together, we're not going to be able to get that 200. And it helps, again, working as a community.
I've seen a lot of growth, especially the immediate ones that has stepped through the door with me. They've all ventured into the other aspects of the job. They've all promoted. They all have their certain niche that they do at their job, and they do it very well. I go to them for support, they come to me for support, and it's just a good group of people to be working with here.
Staples took what I think a very unique position and said, take whatever time, we'll support whatever decision you make, and worked with me as a transition of a family business. As I became, succeeded Archie as the CEO. I mean, this isn't a do-goodism. They make a good profit off of our product as well. But I also think it's a good success story for them that's able to be highlighted as something that they've done. They made a capacity building commitment to an entrepreneur and a woman business of color, and have seen it go from solely distribution to a full-fledged manufacturing.
We distribute our product all over the United States. We have reseller partners such as Staples, OfficeMax, and Office Depot, along with several independent dealers throughout the country. Staples is one of our largest reseller partners, and they have asked us to box it in their own brand name. What we try and do here at Roxbury Technology is to take the empty laser cartridges off a company's hands. 350 million cartridges get thrown into our nation's landfills each year, and we are certainly doing our part to prevent that from happening.
Our reality is that it's not only saving money, but it's the environmental stewardship that's so important, that's going to move us forward, move this community forward. How do we make the world greener? How do we reuse things that we've already used and keep them out of landfill?
We recycle everything. If you look outside in our backyard, we have 3 recycle bins for paper, plastic boxes. You go in everybody's office, they have a recycle bins for plastic, paper. So our main focus is just not only doing the quality cartridges, also staying green and recycling everything that we can.
The hope is that we will be sort of the conduit for the inner city to really get that message out about recycling. We want to have a recycling day here to host where folks can come and bring their old printers, their old computers, their toner cartridges, their CDs, and so that folks can really learn about it. And that's something that really we'd like to have this year. We live in a labor surplus area, and so what we did is we reached out to several community organizations, the Urban League, different church groups. We held a couple of open trade fairs, or open house job fairs rather. We also posted in the Banner and El Planeta and really tried to use the local resources to source. Mr. Goforth, good, how are you today? Good, everything's all right? You feeling better? All right, you can come see me, offline, whatever. Not for everything, because I want you to be able, part of maturity is being able to handle yourself, right? Because I want to see, I'm telling you, I'm watching you. I already prophesied over you, said cover you already. I like that. Yeah, man. You got people who care about you. I'm one of them.
It's really not like a business to me. It's really like a family here. From Norm to Miss Williams to Cinchona. This is a good company here.
What makes a good company are its people. You have to have the right people that are committed to to the vision and the mission of the company, that are committed to the growth of the company and really believe in what we're doing here.
I spent the last part of my career at Polaroid downsizing. And now I have an opportunity to work with a business that has growth potential.
I met Tab where?
Sovereign Bank. It's good to work for a company that has a meaning. You know that you're making a difference. I'm working for a woman that cares about the community.
And that's Ray. He's my consultant that does our IT. We work with Tech Boston. Kimo came on board probably several months ago. He has an MBA from Babson. He's like really cum laude, just a smart guy. The labor pool that's on the floor is very, very easy to get. But to get the right management team that's gonna pick up the ball, almost have an entrepreneurial spirit themselves, be creative, kind of touch different parts and kind of get what has to get done.
To be a part of an organization that is not all about profits, but giving other people an opportunity meant a lot to me, and was, in the end, it was a no-brainer to come and join the company. And I have to say, since I've been here, I've not been disappointed.
As long as you have great employees that love their job, the company's going to continue to strive, and everybody works hard. It's going to continue to be a good company.
What's up, man? When's the baby?
Due date is June 7th.
You and Mr. Goforth, y'all my boys. Don't let knuckleheads mess you up. Okay. This business has taken the people aspect out of it today. And so because I'm a CEO, I can make those decisions. I can say, okay, I have somebody that, is looking for an apartment, and I know somebody that may work for mass housing and can help them. So I'll give them a loan for $1,000, and then they'll have to pay back like $20 a week or something. Will I get the money all back? Who knows? But the point is I'm able to help. And so I think that kind of thing builds loyalty, is that when you realize that, people are people. We're gonna all have challenges with childcare, with our personal lives and things like that. And I try to be as understanding as I can, but it's a thin line. This country was built on manufacturing. And I think half the problems with the country today, we've sourced all those jobs to other countries. They're so interested in driving costs out of business that they've forgotten about the people aspect. I may not make the same profit as someone who's getting $2 a week for an employee and doesn't have to pay benefits, doesn't have to do anything, but we're still able to make a profit, be sustainable, and keep going. You have Suffolk Construction that moved in Roxbury on Mass Ave. You've got all of the different bank branches. So there are a lot of big, organizations that are starting to see that, hey, you have a market here.
The reason is, look at the success of this particular operation, and we're doing it with the people from this community. We're looking at green technology, we're talking about recycling, but most of all, we're talking about investing in the people in this community.
We opened a real live manufacturing plant in the inner city, in Roxbury. We've grown it from 3 people to opening in August with 10 people on the manufacturing floor to today 65 people. And really show that there's good talent here, there's good people that can deliver, that we're able to make it happen here, as well as make a profit. Folks are getting manufacturing done in China, Asia, Vietnam, Mexico, and I think that that's in direct competition with the labor force that we have in many pockets of America, particularly the inner cities. It's a low-skilled, low-barrier entry market, but can provide opportunity and growth and direction and some, opportunity for everyone to try to achieve the American dream.